Hi. Okay, so I'm gonna try to whisper a little bit, but I'm gonna go right off the bat and say that I'm not really good at talking or trying to put together sentences because I get a little nervous. It's like easier to talk to me in person, but I'm making a video, so it's a little bit harder for me. So hopefully this all makes sense. But today I'm going to make a video on some notes that I made in church today that had to do with the sermon. I have my Bible right here, and I'm going to start off reading John 16:33, and then I have my computer right in front of me. I typed the notes that I made on my phone onto my computer so I could film with my phone. Yeah. Okay, so let's begin by reading chapter 16:33. Oh, and before I start, I just want to say the lesson in the video has to do with basically Jesus never said that I just want you to be happy. He never said that. That's a false statement, and happiness is a fleeting emotion, and we're going to learn about that. I learned about that today. So, yeah. All right, so we're going to read John 16:33. Here's my Bible. Hold on a second, my computer turned off. Okay, now I have my notes again. Anyway, John 16:33. I have told you all this so that you may have peace in me. Here on earth you will have many trials and sorrows, but take heart because I have overcome the world. So that's going to kind of be a base to my topic and to what I learned in church today. It's going to be like just the base of the topic. Okay, so let's begin. So my notes are right here. I'm going to try to be like not confusing. It's really hard for me to like talk on a video. So, first, so these notes aren't written like proper. I'm gonna read my note off and then talk about it the right way. So, because I jotted these down really quick in church. So, my first note is he doesn't promise you happiness, but he promises to be with you through every hardship. So, Jesus didn't promise happiness for you, but he does promise to be with you through every hardship, through everything that you go through. He promises to never leave. Happiness is a fleeting feeling that doesn't ever last, but Jesus and God is something that does last. And that is the promise that is made, that he will be with you through it all. Something else is often our happiness results in selfishness, and I am confident enough to admit that this is something that I just learned and didn't grasp all the way in the past. I didn't realize that when I would choose happiness for myself, it was an act of being selfish, because when you choose happiness for yourself, you don't think about what your happiness may do to others. Yes, it might make you happy, but it's the same thing as the grass. You thinking the grass is going to be greener on the other side. When you get there, maybe it is greener, but it doesn't last. It doesn't last. So, say you do something and you're like, well, I'm going to do this because this is makes me happy. God wants me to just be happy. But no, it comes with other things. You being selfish, trying to make yourself only happy because you think that that's what God wants for you, might be hurting someone else. So, yeah, and that's something I just learned. I didn't know this before, and it makes sense. So yeah. Okay. This is something else in my notes. If we want to follow Christ, we die to the selfishness desires and pursue holiness instead of happiness. So this goes along with my other note, how happiness sometimes, most of the time, results in selfishness. If we choose holiness, how could that affect someone else negatively? It can't. If we choose holiness, that is promised. You, you, oh, sorry. See, this is where I get caught up. Everything sounds better in my head, and it's hard to put it out in words, I guess. It's easier to type things out, write things out, and think it in my head. Sorry. Okay. But I think the point is understood. Okay. Oh, so I have another note, and I think it's Psalm 22. It had to kind of do with today's sermon, and it was a really good verse. And I'm going to find it in my Bible very quickly, as quickly as I can. Okay. But I think it's Psalm 22. I'm actually not positive because I was writing these notes very quickly, so it was. Let's see. Well, if I'm being honest, all the verses are very telling and good, and yeah. But I would like to read the one that I wrote down. I'm almost there. Oh, my computer turned off again. Okay. So sorry. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is Psalm 22. The entire thing is actually very good to read. Um, I'm not exactly sure what verse I was trying to read. Okay, I'm so sorry. I do want to read. I see this now as I'm reading it. I'm I'm just gonna quickly summarize it. I do suggest that you read Psalm 22 because it has to do with this about Jesus and God staying with you through everything, and how don't choose happiness, and even in all your troubles, you can still choose holiness. You can still choose to not, it's going to sound stupid, or it's going to sound bad, but as an adult, I should say, you can still choose to be graceful about everything that you have going on. You can still choose to pursue Jesus and God instead of throwing a fit and becoming, what is that word? Just being weary about faith simply because you're going through things. No. Um, I'm just going to read this really quickly, kind of an example from Psalm 22:14. My life is poured out like water, and all my bones are out of joint. My heart is like wax melting within me. My strength has dried up like sun-baked clay. So the hardships are being described. And if you read through Psalm 22, you can see that he is becoming, I don't know what word I'm trying to say. Oh my gosh, it goes along with this. But anyway, his faith seems to be slipping. But what he is doing is begging God and Jesus to stay with him through what he is going through. So there's that. Um, and here's another note which has to do with what I've already said, I think. In your suffering, you can still choose to surrender to Jesus. His desire for us is holiness, not happiness. Um, Happiness is temporary. Okay, so this is one I do want to talk about that I don't think I've really talked about yet. Don't pursue happiness, but joy. Don't pursue things that won't last. God and Jesus will last. Follow Him, and He will give you promised joy in the afterlife. Oh, and I believe that this goes along with James chapter 1 and 2. Oh, sorry, chapter 1, verse 2 and 3. If I will find that quickly and we can read it, but follow Him, and He will give you promised joy in the afterlife. So, as He promises to follow you through every hardship, and He also, what He does promise is joy in the afterlife. And we all know that. He promises joy in the afterlife. He promises no turbulence, peacefulness in the afterlife. Choose holiness through everything, and you are promised that afterlife. So don't worry about trying to find happiness or making yourself happy when if you just pursue Him, you will be okay, and you won't have to see if the grass is greener on the other side. Happiness is a fleeting emotion. Again, um, maybe I'm just going to look up James chapter 1 verse on my computer because it's a little bit faster because I didn't put bookmarks in my Bible. So, okay. Let's just do that really quick. Oh my, sorry. I should have become more prepared for this. Let's see if this is it. Okay, it's loading. I should have been more prepared. I could never be a pastor. Okay, so I believe this is what I'm looking for. James chapter 1 verse 2 states, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers, when you encounter trials of many kinds." The King's James Version reads, "My brethren, count it all joy when ye fall into divers temptations." Okay, so I'm going to go with the first one because I understand it a little more. At least At least we got both versions, just in case some people prefer the other one. Um, Consider it pure joy, my brothers, when you encounter trials of many kinds. I do want to see verse 3 because I believe that also has to do with what I'm talking about. Okay, so we got that. Should have been more prepared. My bad. This is going to be a very long video, and I'm sorry. Knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. James chapter 1, verse 3. Okay. Okay. Knowing that joy is promised in the afterlife is motivation to choose holiness over selfishness, is what I am getting at, and that is something that I've learned. I learned a lot in church today. I learn a lot every single time. Um, he has something greater for us than unlasting happiness, and I believe we all know that. He has something greater for us in the afterlife now than unlasting happiness. And then my last note was John 16:33, which we already read. So I encourage everybody to take that story or what I learned from the sermon. This is helpful to anybody. And moral of the sermon is happiness doesn't last, but if you choose holiness, you are promised joy. You are promised for Him to always be there through everything. You can find joy in your turbulence, knowing that He is there with you. Selfishness is a result of choosing your own happiness over Him. Jesus and God never said, I just want you to be happy. I want you to be holy. So I guess I'm going to end that video. Um, maybe I should, this is going to be a really long video, but I think that's okay because look at what we're talking about. We're talking about the thing that matters the most, God. Maybe I should make a separate video for this, but I have a lot of typed out Bible notes that I have made on different chapters and verses of the Bible. Like I said, it's so much easier to type things out and think of them than making a video and talking out loud. But maybe I can read one of them very quickly just to end the video. Okay. One of the ones I have on this document is John chapter 8:36. Oh, chapter 8, 35 and 36. Okay. A slave is not a permanent member of the family, but a son is part of the family forever. So if the son sets you free, you are truly free. And I made notes on this. I'm just going to read it just to end this video. I think I'll make a separate video reading all my notes because I shared them with one other person who shared some with me as well. We went back and forth. It was really nice. Okay. So I said, I love this one. This is the first time I have read these specific verses. Thank you for sharing this one with me too. I interpreted this as you can be a slave to sin, but you do not have to always be a slave. You can come out of sinning and just be the son of God. You are set free once you let go of being a slave. This was a big topic in church a few months ago, actually. The topic was freedom, and a lot of it had to do with freeing yourself from sin. God never created us to be slaves to anyone. Okay, now I remember writing this one. Okay. Yeah, we actually they do this whole they take one subject and they create weekly sermons that has to do with one subject, and they're on a new subject now, but the one that I was going to, that wasn't too long ago, it ended. There's a new one now. It was called A Freedom Journey, and that one was very, very good. And like I said, I had learned about freeing yourself from sin during that subject, so that was very nice. Okay, so I'm gonna end this video. I actually might make another video, but it's gonna probably be a gameplay video. Maybe to Stardew Valley or The Sims. Most likely Stardew Valley because it's nighttime and it's 10 times easier to play than The Sims because I can kind of lollygag in Stardew Valley. So, yeah. It was nice chatting about the Bible and God and Jesus with everyone. I hope to get some comments, maybe talk to other people about it, get other people's input on the subject that I talked about today and learned about in church today. So I'm going to end the video. Okay, bye.